Interconnections with souls. Aborted babies and children in the womb. The method of interconnections enables the development of encounters with the spiritual world. It's like a direct access to the spiritual world. So we say that with a person in a modified state of consciousness, in a state of trance, we have the opportunity for dialogue through the vehicle, the brain or soul of that person, with any other soul, living or dead, from this world or other worlds. We have the capacity in a modified state of consciousness to connect with things that, on a conscious level, would be impossible. There are many aborted children who, because they weren't able to stay with their own mother, they come across an affectionate, family-minded mother figure and decide to invade her, to enter her. They find a refuge in her. In general, these types of souls can be extremely distorted because, well, imagine, they were aborted, they can be extremely disturbed, their contact with life was interrupted in a violent way, so they are in need of existence. They usually insert themselves into women, or even the very mother who aborted them. And generally, they cause many problems, don't they? Yes, with regards to abortion, we've come across everything. We've seen children who have come with a simple sense of sacrifice, knowing that they were to be aborted, sacrificing themselves and sending a message of love to their mother. There are others who are alone and scared and want to be with their mother. And there are others who are angry. In general, many of them are angry. We see souls with every kind of reaction. Yes, but in general, with aborted children, the majority of souls are resentful. Souls that are very angry and through their rage can cause a large amount of damage in the people they possess. Yes, I had a very curious case. A young girl came to me who, since she had had an abortion, she'd been in a complete conflict. She was hearing voices, had depression, she was very, very affected. And it turns out that the aborted baby's soul was inside her, but that they had had a relationship in a previous life. That many years ago they had been a couple, and now he had managed to come into her life, again, but as her son, so that they could be together once more. And so, because she had terminated the pregnancy, he was very, very angry and wanted to get revenge on her. Because I came to be with you, now you go and do this to me, now you've killed me, how could you? I came to be with you so that you wouldn't be alone. But it wasn't the baby who wanted revenge, it was the soul of a lover from another life. There are many souls of children or aborted babies that, as they see their lives as having been interrupted, that they were killed, they influence the people they possess to commit the same act, sometimes because they want to see them dead, or sometimes because they want to take them with them into the world that they inhabit. You had a case like that. It was a difficult case, very hard on the patient. She came a few years ago with a lot of illnesses, physical problems, a lot of pain over a long time. On top of that, she had to take a staggering amount of medication. She had epilepsy in one of its most complex forms and seizures since birth. You can imagine a life full of pain and suffering. We begin the Metahypnosis, the interconnection, and in one of the revelations, the soul of a boy appears, a boy who had been aborted before she was born. And he says, "I'm the patient's brother. I'm here because I didn't have the right to live and I want to be with my sister. And what is it that you cause within her?" "I cause the seizures." "Why?" I ask. "Because it's a way for me to take her with me a little." That's to say, each seizure that he generated was a kind of symbolic death, a way to disconnect her with this world, so that he could have some contact with her. Incredible, isn't it? Incredible. And just by removing this soul, as well as others that the patient had within her, one could see very, very quickly an enormous recovery in her change of physical and mental state, in particular in the complete cessation of her seizures. You also had a very interesting case with a baby with Down syndrome. Yes, a pregnant woman came for a consultation with doubts that her pregnancy was going well. So, within the process of hypnosis, with the patient in a trance, we made contact with the soul inside her, and the baby related that all was well in the womb and that he was going to be born just fine. Great. The mother went away from the session feeling reassured, and a few months later, I returned to the place where I had met this woman. She comes again for a consultation and tells me that, yes, she became a mother, but that she's the mother of a child with Down syndrome. She said it was something she hadn't been expecting because she had heard the baby say that he was fine. So we start the process again to see what the baby's soul would tell us, and the amazing thing about this story was that the baby said that he was born with Downs to awaken an altruistic love in this mother, a love beyond the limits of the traditional love for a child, and that he, in a previous life, had taken care of his mother because she, in a previous life, had Down syndrome. And the compensation, the reward for him looking after his mother in another life was that in this life, his mother would do the same for him. In these stories, in these cases, we always come across the theme of debts and compensation. So if, for example, in this life, you have a lot of conflict with your partner because they mistreat you, or you feel that something about them affects you, we can discover that there's a reason that perhaps in another existence, in another life, that you mistreated that man or woman, and that in this life you are experiencing a form of compensation, and thanks to that revelation, the karma can be dissolved, can be liberated. Consequently, we imagine that liberation, for example, in the case of this woman, she can now accept her motherhood and understand her relationship with her child with Down syndrome, discovering that in reality she herself experienced it in another existence, and that they kind of have a shared relationship of care between them in life after life. And this brings an understanding of karma, of what karma is, and the acceptance of karma, and to live in peace with it, because, well, if not, this girl could have lived this entire existence in conflict. And the good thing about all of this, Rodri, is that we can see it in real life. It's not something that we're reading in an ancient book by old writers of sacred religions, or some writer who tells us stories of a specific channeling from long ago. Here we are relating what's happening in real life in each clinical case that demonstrates what actually happens.